Welcome to online classes DEO Nalgonda. Children, hope you are safe at home during this pandemic situation. For that, we are going to discuss an important topic of Unit 7, that is the trial, and it consists of three types of readings: A reading, B reading and C reading. So, as we have already completed reading A in the previous session, now we are moving on to reading B, that is Antony's speech. Okay? Shall we move on? Before that, I would like to tell about the author of this, the poet of this poem, William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare is the greatest English dramatist and playwright whom the entire world praised more. Right. So he was born in 1564 and died in 1616. Was an English poet and playwright, widely regarded as the greatest writer and dramatist in the English language. He is often called England's national poet and the Bard of Avon. His surviving works, including some collaborations, consist of about 38 plays, 154 sonnets, 2 long narrative poems, and several other poems. His plays have been translated into every major living languages and are performed more often than those of any other playwright. So this is about the poet, playwright and dramatist William Shakespeare. And moving on to the glossary of this content. So we have already displayed on this chart. Look at this. First one, oft means often. Interred means buried. Hath means has. Grievous means very severe or serious. Answered, here the meaning is changed, paid for something wrongdoing, I mean punished. Under leave of, with the permission. Captives means prisoners or confined. Next, ransom, a sum of money demanded or paid for the release of a prisoner. General coffers, national treasury. Sterner, cruel or unkind. The Lupercal means the Lupercal feast day, I mean festival. Withhold means suppress or restrain. So an emotional or reaction. Mourn means feel deep sorrow following someone's death. Thou means you. Ought fled means have run away. Brutish means cruel or like an animal. Coffin means a long narrow box in which a dead body is buried or cremated. Pause. Children, let's move on to the main part of this content. Okay? This speech is an extract from the play Julius Caesar, written by William Shakespeare. Okay? So, In this poem, there is a discourse, I mean, very important discourse of major discourses, that is a speech, an emotional speech by an important person. Julius Caesar was a Roman emperor with great political power. He was killed in a conspiracy led by Brutus. Antony, a great friend of Julius Caesar, gave a rousing speech to the public on this occasion, keeping the dead body before the public. He begins his speech by saying, so do you know how he began his speech? Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones. So, let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus hath told you Caesar was ambitious. Ambitious means to have overpower, excessive of power. So, he indirectly criticizes Brutus and praises Julius Caesar, his best friend. If it were so, it was grievous fault, great mistake, very serious mistake by Brutus, killing Julius Caesar secretly, which is a cold-blooded murder. Okay? And grievously hath Caesar answered it. Here, under leave of Brutus and the rest. For Brutus is an honorable man. Do you understand the way of speaking? How Antony is speaking? On the other hand, he is indirectly criticizing Brutus by using an honorable man, the word honorable. So are they all honorable men. Come I to speak in Caesar's funeral. Okay, funeral, you know very well, funeral means the procession of a dead body. I think you might have participated in funerals, the procession of dead bodies. Come I to speak in Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. You know, both Julius Caesar and Antony were the best friends. So, look at this picture, children. Right? So, this is the picture which indicates Antony's emotional and criticizing manner of speech in view of Brutus. And this is the dead body of Julius Caesar, the very powerful Roman emperor in the ancient times. Right? As you know, and he says that he did not come to praise Caesar, but he is indirectly praising Caesar and indirectly criticizing Brutus and pointing out his mistake, serious crime of killing Julius Caesar secretly. And Brutus is an honorable man, and he is trying to praise Brutus by using honorable word. He hath brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general coffers fill. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? This is a question. So you can observe the way of questioning. As you know, we have two types of questions. Particular answer type questions, I mean WH word questions, and yes or no type questions, I mean helping up questions. So did this in Caesar seem ambitious? Did you observe the way of questioning? So this is, yes, you are right. Undoubtedly yes or no type question. When that the poor have cried, Caesar hath wept. He is reminding Julius Caesar's great heart, kind heart, noble heart. When the poor cried, suffered, Julius Caesar also suffered. He wept for them. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Yet Brutus says he was ambitious. In spite of all these virtuous qualities, good qualities, so Julius Caesar was murdered, and Brutus is an honorable man. So try to understand an honor. An honorable man. Here you can understand. So this is one of the three articles in English language. Okay, A and D. Okay. D. Best friend. The best friend. So try to observe the difference between these three articles. You all did see that on the Lupercal festival day, I thrice presented him a kingly crown. So on the festival day, the specific festival is the Lupercal. Antony presented his kingly crown to Julius Caesar thrice, means 3 times, which he did thrice refuse. But Julius Caesar simply refused the offer of Antony's kingly crown. Was this ambition? Now you can understand, is Julius Caesar was ambitious or not? By refusing Antony's offer of kingly crown for 3 times. Yet Brutus says he was ambitious. And sure, he is an honorable man. You can understand the difference between these 3 types of articles. Okay. I speak not to disprove what Brutus spoke, but here I am to speak what I do know. You all did love him once, not without cause, without any reason. My dear people, you loved Julius Caesar. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? Here, mourn. We have already given the meaning mourn. Okay. So mourn means to feel very sad about one's death. So here Julius Caesar was brutally, means cruelly murdered by the secret plan of Brutus. So that's why Antony is indirectly asking the people, why don't you mourn for the death of Julius Caesar, such a great person? You go on continuing. O judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts. So he is praying to God, O God. So you have already given the judgment of this cruel plot, and men have lost their reason. Bear with me. My heart is in the coffin there with Caesar, and I must pause till it comes back to me. So this is by William Shakespeare. And Antony indirectly points out that I will wait. Here pause. Pause means A brief stop. Pause means a brief stop. A brief stop means short for a short time, right? And he says that I will wait for the man because my heart is with Julius Caesar. Now he is dead. I will wait till my heart comes back to me. That means indirectly he is saying that he will wait for the person who will come in place of Julius Caesar, such a powerful emperor. Emperor means head of the kings of a country. So, in this way, Julius Caesar's cruel murder, brutal murder, was highlighted by his best friend Antony before the public to know the actual reason, to know the truth about Julius Caesar, what he did for his people of the country. So now children, let me move on to an important grammar point in this poem. So here Antony used a word, an honorable man. Okay, an honorable man. So here an is one of the three articles, a, an and the. So these a, an, so these are indefinite articles. Both are used before singular nouns, but there is difference. So a is used before a consonantal sound, I mean a man. Okay, man, the word man, singular noun, begins with a consonant sound. And an honorable man, here H is silent. If the H is silent, O is there. What are the vowels? A, E, I, O, U, isn't it? Okay, right. So before vowel sounds we use an, and before particular things or places or persons we use the or the. Okay, so the grammar item in this poem is a and the, which are divided into two parts as indefinite articles, and the definite article. Indefinite and definite article. So these two is under one category, and THED is a particular thing. Okay, so these are all the items which are included in Shakespeare's wonderful poem Antony's Speech. So this is the way how to make a speech. You have to begin with addressing the guests. Second one, content. So I mean what you are going to say. And third one is taking leave, thanking the persons or people who have given that opportunity. Okay, so with this, and I hope you will be able to come to an idea about this poem, the important characters Antony, Julius Caesar and Brutus. So these are the main characters of this poem. So in the next session we are going to discuss one more important topic. Till then, stay home, stay safe. Thank you, children. Welcome to online classes DEVO Nalgonda. Children, hope you are staying home and staying safe during this COVID-19 pandemic. Today we are going to discuss and learn the last reading of Unit 7 of your 9th class English. Do you know what is the topic? Yes. So here is let me show you the title. Mahatma Gandhi. Pushed out of train. Okay. So here Mahatma Gandhi pushed out of train. This means Mahatma Gandhi not pushed anybody out of the train, but Mahatma Gandhi was pushed out of the train by someone. So let us move on to know about this interesting and important chapter, where it happened, why it happened. Before that, before moving on to discussion, so let me tell you about the author. Author Richard Braille. So Richard Braille. Richard Braille. Richard Braille, so he was born on 25th August 1925 and educated at University of Michigan. So as an American writer, he is the best known for his some of the plays of biopics. He won the Academy Award for the Best Original Screenplay at the 1982 Oscars for Gandhi. Children, do you know about the movie, the popular movie in the Indian history of film? So Gandhi. So Braille also won the Academy Award for the Best Original Screenplay and the Golden Globe Award for the Best Screenplay. So this is a short description about the author Richard Braille. And let us look at the title. Can you read out, children? Yes, you can read out. Mahatma Gandhi. There is a pause, means brief stop, short stop, stop for a while. Pushed out of the train means somebody pushed out of Mahatma Gandhi out of the train. And the discourse is, it's a play. It's a play. So as you know, the types of discourses, major and minor discourses. So play is one of the major discourses which carries more marks in your examination point of view. So a play consists of some important characters. So look at the picture, children. Here is a picture which indicates the real incident that happened to Mahatma Gandhi. So first class coach, South African Railways, interior, night. The time is night. And look at that picture, children. What do you see? So two men are pushing one person out of the train along with his luggage. Right. The main characters. Who are the main characters? Gandhi, Next, porter. Next, conductor. And one, a European. So these are the major characters. So once Gandhi was traveling by train in South Africa when he was practicing his law at South African court. He was fighting for the Indians' rights in South Africa. And you know very well there was very discrimination, means difference, looking down the black people, and there was a fight between races, black people and white people. So the Negroes were treated very severely by the white people in those days. And you have already discussed Nelson Mandela in the previous unit. So what happened when he was a child, when he was a young man. So all those apartheid, that is called apartheid, means discrimination in the point of color, one's color. So here Gandhiji was traveling by train. So Gandhi was a young Indian. It is the young Gandhi, a full head of hair, somewhat sensuous face. Only the eyes help us to identify him. He is lost in his book and there is a slight smile on his face, as though what he reads intrigues and surprises him. He grins suddenly at some insight, then looks out of the window weighing the idea. As he does, a European passes the compartment and stops dead on seeing an Indian face in the first class section. The porter glances at the European nervously. So in those days, the black people, Indians, were not allowed to travel the first class compartment in a train due to discrimination, color discrimination, racism. Gandhi pivots to the porter holding his place in the book, missing the European who has moved on down the corridor altogether. We see the cover of the book, The Kingdom of God is Within You by Leo Tolstoy. So here is one famous author, Leo Tolstoy. Now the character Gandhi. Tell me, do you think about hell? Porter says, hell? What is the hell? So, opposite word of paradise. So, these are all. Gandhi says, no, neither do I, but this man is a Christian and he was written. Porter, excuse me, boss, here BAS, boss is a South African word in the meaning of boss. But how long have you been in South Africa? The porter questions. Porter means the person who carries the luggage in the railway station. So he questions Gandhiji, for how long have you been living in South Africa? Gandhi says, a week, just a week days, 7 days. Well, I don't know how you got a ticket for, because Gandhiji was traveling in a first class compartment in South Africa. So, before the independence of India, before coming to India, he was living in South Africa. He was practicing as a lawyer. So the porter looks at Gandhiji in a confusing manner, surprising manner. The conductor says, "Here, coolie, just what are you doing in this car?" Gandhi, "Why, I have a ticket, a first class ticket." Because Gandhiji was traveling first class compartment by purchasing, by taking first class ticket. He has the right, full right to travel. Conductor, "How did you get hold of it?" Conductor questioning. So you can understand the type of questions. Yes or no type questions and WH word questions. Yes or no type questions and WH word questions. WH questions. You can identify these two types of questions in this chapter. Right. European says, "There are no colored attorneys in South Africa." Here, attorney means a lawyer. Attorney. Attorney means a lawyer. Okay. Right. The European was surprised. "How you got this ticket for first class compartment within a weekdays of time?" Though so he orders, "Go and sit where you belong." And these black people were allotted a separate seats in every traveling mode, that may be bus or train or everything. The porter says, "I will take your luggage back." The porter understands the situation and he was ready to send Gandhiji out by carrying his luggage back. Gandhiji, "No, no, just a moment please." Gandhiji seriously opposes. "Wait, porter, wait. I don't change my place. I have the right to travel this first class compartment." Gandhi, "You see, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, attorney at law, I am going to Pretoria to conduct a case for an Indian trading firm." Why Gandhiji was going to Pretoria by this first class compartment? As a lawyer, as an attorney, he was going to argue a case which was in support of an Indian firm, company, trading firm. Gandhi, European, "Didn't you hear me? There are no colored attorneys in South Africa." And the European objects and reminds him, "Hello, mister, don't you listen to my words? Don't you hear me? There are no colored, black lawyers in South African court." Gandhi says, "Sir, I was called to the bar in London and enrolled in the High Court of Chancery. I am therefore an attorney, and since I am in your eyes colored, black in color, I think we can deduce that there is at least one colored attorney in South Africa." When the European objects Gandhiji traveling first class compartment, Gandhi suggest the court, recommend the court at least one attorney in the court, one colored attorney in the court. So the porter looks at Gandhiji surprisingly, amazed. European, "Smart bloody kafir, throw him out." European was angry because Gandhiji was not listening to him to go back, to change his place. So he was seriously telling the porter by using a very angry word, "Throw him out." Conductor, "You move your damn Sammy carcass back to third class or I will have you thrown off at the next station." So the conductor warns Gandhiji, a young Indian attorney, that he will throw him off at the next station. Gandhi, "I always go first class. I have travelled all over England and I have never." So Gandhiji did not agree with the proposal of that European and the conductor. So as this is going on, what happens? The place Martinsburg station exterior night. It was night at this place, Martinsburg station. So this incident happened. Gandhiji's luggage is thrown into the station platform. A blast of steam from the engine. A policeman and the conductor are pulling Gandhiji from the first class car. Gandhiji is clinging to the safety rails by the door, a briefcase clutched firmly in one hand. The European cracks on Gandhi's hands with his fist. So this is called fist. Closed hand is called fist. Breaking Gandhi's grip, and the policeman and conductor push him across the platform. It is ugly and demeaning. Disgustedly, Gandhi rights himself on the platform, picking up his briefcase, his face a mixture of rage, humiliation, impotence. The conductor hurls Gandhi's book at his feet as the train starts to move. So, this is the location where Gandhiji was without any consideration, he was thrown out of the train. And do you know, children, this after this incident, the South African government named the station where Gandhiji was insulted and thrown out of the train. So that railway station was named after Gandhiji after a long period of this incident. Okay, so this is all the description, narration of this play. In fact, if it were a physical classroom, all the students would be involved in this play, because a play includes some characters. You should play the role of all these characters, but this present situation doesn't allow us to make you involved in this play. So we are going on online classes. Okay, so by this you can understand the characters, how many characters are involved in this play, and what are the words, opposite words, and some grammatical items. Okay, so hope you might have understood the concept of this play, and remember and try to answer the questions whenever you are given the task of that work. Okay. Thank you, children. Stay home and stay safe. Okay. Right. See you in the next session.